Hi, I'm Mike Romano with Thrive Mortgage, and today we're going to cover closing costs and what they mean for you as a buyer and for you as a seller. Number one, buyers and sellers each cover their own closing costs. The seller is likely to pay a fee, typically to a real estate agent, of somewhere between 3 to 6% of the sales price of the home. They also have additional closing costs, typically some types of taxes, a transfer tax, and maybe a deed preparation or a small fee like that, a few $100s typically. Now, the buyer also has closing costs, and those are going to range somewhere around probably, depending on the size of the home. Number two, know your closing costs. So the buyer is going to experience closing costs through the lending process primarily. And those closing costs typically cover the lender's fixed expenses, things such as underwriting, processing, or an admin fee. You might also see some lenders charge an origination fee, and that is just a fixed upfront charge that lenders set for themselves when they establish what the cost of their loans are going to be. Some of the other closing costs that you're going to experience will be cost of the appraisal, the cost for the title company to examine the title. They're going to offer an insurance both for the lender, which is typically mandatory, and also for you as a buyer. And then there's going to be some recording fees and whatnot. Now, when it comes to interest rates, there is no one interest rate for the day. So lenders will have a rate that you may also have to pay what's called a discount point. And a discount point is a percentage of the loan amount that lowers the interest rate for the life of the loan. An upfront charge to get a lower interest rate. So, number three, know when to negotiate seller concessions. Hey, this is June of 2022. And with the market being as hot as what it's been, you are probably not asking the seller to pay any of your closing costs. Up until the recent past, that was a very common thing. And I'm confident that asking sellers to pay your closing costs will be something that comes back. Now, there's a limit to what they're allowed to pay. For an FHA loan, so it's typically 6%. For a conventional loan, it typically is 3%, but can be as high as 9%, which is a little bit too high, to be honest, but can be that high depending on the amount that the borrower is putting down. There are other ways to get your closing costs covered. And again, in this market in 2022, it's a little bit harder, but the lender can actually, in some cases, increase your interest rate and cover those closing costs, pay for them themselves. So just like you can pay some extra money up front and get a lower rate, you can accept a higher interest rate and ask the lender to pay some of your costs. It really all boils down to how long you plan to be in the house and what your ultimate goals are, and of course, how much cash you have to work with. Making sure you know when to leverage seller concessions and how much your closing costs are will go a long way to helping your closing go smoothly.